Maybe you were the perfect employee when you worked for someone else, and now you're trying to do your creative dream, your writing, your art, whatever it is, full time, and you're finding it's almost impossible to do the tasks you set for yourself. It's a very normal experience. Maybe you're feeling so frustrated with the fact that you would do anything that a boss told you to do, and yet now that you are your own boss, it's like you can't take yourself seriously in that role. If this is the case, you're completely normal. This is not a problem that you invented. In fact, it exists for many, many people. We're going to get into it today. If you're new here or if you're not, hello, welcome. My name is Casey and I am a cozy rom-com author. I write stories about catching flights and feelings, and over here on YouTube, I share simple practices to help you be calm and creative and achieve your creative goals. So before we get into some practical ways to solve this problem, let's just define what the problem really is. So maybe you were dreaming for a long time about pursuing your creative outlet full time. Maybe you were working on your writing or your art or your music in the whatever time you could find outside of your full-time job, and you were dreaming that whole time about what it would be like to be able to do it full-time. And maybe now you're in a position where you are doing it full-time and there's just so much frustration because, as the day stretches before you, you find yourself, the goals that you've set for yourself or the tasks you've assigned yourself for a day, you keep pushing them to tomorrow or next week. Not yet, not yet, not yet. It might make you wonder what's wrong with you. It might certainly feel that way. When you look back at previous jobs you've had, you might think, I worked for people, maybe I didn't even like the people I worked for, respect them, and yet still I did everything they told me to do. And yet, I love myself, I respect myself, I'm not doing the things I'm telling myself to do now. Like, what's wrong with me? And it's actually completely normal. So if you look at this from a perspective of your nervous system, the priority always of your nervous system is going to be doing what is safe. So in the context of working for someone else, what is safe in that setting? Of course, it is to do what you are told to do. This might also align with, a fear of authority or a desire to appease authority figures, which is a natural thing. Again, the person who pays your paycheck, should you do the thing that they ask you to do? Yeah, probably, if you want them to continue paying you. The problem comes then when you are doing something that is more vulnerable. You're working for yourself, you're putting things that you've created out into the world, which is an inherently vulnerable act. What your nervous system is going to find safe in that context is not doing that, is protecting yourself, is coming up with reasons why you shouldn't do that yet, why you shouldn't, announce a pre-order on social media yet, or why you shouldn't maybe even start creating the thing yet, because it doesn't feel like it's safe for you to do that. So the short version of it is, no, you're not lazy. No, you don't not respect yourself. It's just that there's something inside you that's trying to keep you safe. And it's a perfectly natural thing that is inside you. And there are things that you can do to help navigate it. The priority in this time should be helping create that feeling of safety instead of just trying to push through, right? I think sometimes we get really frustrated with ourselves when we're in this sort of setting and we just try and push and go, okay, I'm going to ignore this, the sirens that are going off inside me that are saying it's not safe, and I'm just going to push through and do the thing. And that's not really, the ideal path. The ideal path is to reassure yourself, your little inner child, your ego, the ancient parts of your brain, reassure all of these components of yourself that this is safe. What I am doing right now is safe. It might feel ridiculous if you haven't heard this before to be telling yourself, it's safe to write that book. It's safe to paint that painting. It's safe to post these things on Instagram. It's safe to send an email, whatever it is. But really, that is the core of this nervous system work, is reassuring yourself that you're safe. So the practical takeaway for today is to find one quick little thing that is soothing to you. And it might really, truly just be putting your hand over your heart, or just, over your chest here, and just, talking like I am. I feel the vibrations here. That feels soothing to me. Maybe it's humming instead of talking out loud to yourself. Maybe it's swaying gently. Like when we think about the things that we do with a baby who needs to be soothed, and how we just naturally put a hand on their back, we might pat lightly, and we just sway side to side. And that can create a feeling of inner safety very, very quickly. You don't need to do this for an hour. You can do it for about 20 seconds and go, okay, I'm feeling better now. I can take a small step into this thing that was feeling scary to me. And you can do that as often as you need to. You might, every little action that you take each day might bring up this feeling again, and you might need to soothe yourself again. And that's perfectly normal, perfectly natural. The more time that you spend, like the more comfortable you get in this area that right now is outside of your comfort zone, soon your comfort zone will expand and that will feel safe, and then you'll need to expand it further and further and further. But don't focus on that. Just focus on right now, on what you need to do today, and on helping soothe yourself into taking these actions, taking these small steps. And I think the gentler and slower you are, the further you'll go. If this video resonated for you, make sure to subscribe. I am sharing here on YouTube both these sorts of quick, digestible practices that can help you on your creative journey, as well as my own experience of becoming a full-time creative a little bit unexpectedly and how that's going for me. So I'll see you in the next one.